Now, Sweden has a new trend that really, I think, shows the difference between the genders. Men understand that when they go to work, it is a job. Not everybody gets the privilege of being passionate about their job. Most people in life do not get the privilege of loving their job. Most people show up because there's a job and it needs to get done, or it's well paid. Unfortunately, we have a tendency to take lower paying jobs that we're passionate about and often don't have a future. I'll give you guys an example. I don't see a lot of men getting gender studies degrees. And if you look at the data, it's primarily women. Why? Because that's something that the women are passionate about. And you see this in the current trend that is going on in Sweden. So there is a soft girl trend that celebrates women quitting work. Sweden has a global reputation for championing gender equality. So why are young women embracing a social media trend that celebrates quitting work? Vilma Larsson, 25, previously had jobs at a grocery store, a care home, and a factory. But she quit work a year ago to become a stay-at-home girlfriend and says she's never been happier. My life is softer. I'm not struggling and I am not very stressed. Her boyfriend works remotely in finance, and while he spends his days on his laptop, she's at the gym, out for coffee, or cooking. The couple grew up in a small town in central Sweden, but now travel a lot and now are spending the winter in Cyprus. So again, we fought for this equality. And, oftentimes I think the men, they get together and they say, are they sure they want a man's life? Are they sure? Are you guys sure you want these jobs? We don't love them. We just do them. Are you ladies sure? And then we come out and we say, please let us do the jobs that you're doing. Please, we're dying to. We want to go in the military. Can we go into corporate America? Please, we want to do it. They roll their eyes and they say, all right, have fun. Go at it. We don't want to hear you guys complain, so fine. And then we go into a man's world. We get treated like a man, and oftentimes we don't like it, as you see in this case right here. Every month he gives me a salary from his money that he made, but if I need more, I'll ask him. Or if I need less, I just save the rest, she explains. She shares on her lifestyle on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok, where she's amassed 11,000 followers. Some of her posts have almost 400,000 likes, although she says she's not making an income from her content. She uses the hashtag Hemflickvän and Hemmafru, Swedish for stay-at-home girlfriend and housewife, and describes herself as a soft girl, an identity that embraces a softer, more feminine way of living rather than focusing on a career. The soft girl lifestyle has been micro-trend on social media in different parts of the world since late 2010, but in Sweden, with 5 decades of policies designed to promote dual income households behind it, the concept's recent popularity has sparked both surprise and division. Now, one thing I noticed as I'm reading this is all of the things she says that she's doing with her free time do not benefit the man, right? So she's getting coffee. I guess you could say the gym, maybe, right? And I'm not saying she's not, I don't know. But what I've noticed is oftentimes when I hear women claim to be traditional or that they want traditional outcomes, it's just to avoid working. It's not to avoid working for the husband, right? Or to work hard so his life is better. It's I just don't want to do the hard things anymore. Okay, Sweden's largest annual survey of young people first put the national spotlight on Sweden's embracing the soft girl trend a year ago. After the popular choice, when 15 to 24-year-olds were asked to predict trends for 2024. Another study this August suggested it was even becoming an aspiration among younger schoolgirls, with 14% of 7 to 14-year-old girls identifying as soft girls. You know what's interesting? They will identify as soft girls, but when you poll that same group of women on where they rank men in their priority list, it's still 7th. It's like they have traveling above men. It's about leaning away from this boss girl idea that we've been seeing for lots of years, where there are very, very high demands for success in every aspect of life. There is no official data for the number of soft girls quitting work altogether and living off their partners, but it is likely to be a small proportion. But it's nevertheless becoming a major talking point in Sweden, from opinion pieces in broadsheet newspapers to panel discussions at Idalen, a huge annual cross-party political event, and on Swedish public service television. The co-founder and former leader of the Sweden Feminist Party says she's taken part in recent debates on the issue. She believes women living off their partners is very dangerous and a step backwards for gender equality. Let me get this straight. She didn't say quit working to have kids. She said quit working to live a soft girl life. I don't know. I think it doesn't sound too dangerous to me. Fellas in the chat, put a 1 in the chat if you could do a soft man life. Gun to your head. You're forced to get coffee, go to the gym. Could you guys do it? She also thinks there's a lack of awareness about life in Sweden before it embraced policies designed to promote gender equality, such as heavy subsidized childcare and shared parental leave. Young women today don't carry the history of how hard women had to fight to get their rights, the right to work, the right to have a salary, and the right to economic independence. Okay, at the other end of this political spectrum, the Swedish Democrat Party has always been positive towards the soft girl trend. I think that people should get to decide their own life. And if you have the economic possibility of living off your partner, then good for you. We still live in a country with all the opportunities to have a career. We have all the rights, but we have the right to live more traditionally. Aside from ideological debates, discussions have focused on the social and cultural aspects that could be influencing young women to quit work, or at least aspire to softer lifestyles. Sweden has a reputation for work-life balance. Most employees get 6 weeks holiday, with less than 1% working more than 50 hours a week. Still, research suggests that rising stress levels amongst young people and believe soft girl trends might be an extension of the recent global work trends such as quiet quitting, which encourages employees not to overextend themselves. Meanwhile, the Gen Z age group are making and being influenced by social media content that celebrates leisure time rather than career goals. Work doesn't really feature that much if you look at lifestyle content on social media today. It's more about exercise and wellness. And if that's the picture young people have of what a normal life looks like, then of course, you're not going to be excited about spending 8 hours a day in a office. But perhaps the biggest talking point is whether the trend is a response to the limitations of Sweden's pioneering gender equality policies. Sweden has the highest proportion of working mothers in Europe, yet government stats suggest that women in heterosexual couples still do a larger share of the housework than men. Oh my gosh. I can't do this anymore. I just can't. I cannot hear about how hard housework is when we have dishwashers, Roombas. I mean, I even saw a Roomba mop. We have air fryers and we're complaining because we have to do 10% more housework than men. Could we just say thank you for running the whole infrastructure of society? Thanks for inventing pretty much everything statistically. I'm really tired of this feminist talking point. I just want it to stop. Please, God, please end it. They also take 70% of state-funded parental leave and are more likely to go on sick leave for stress. Meanwhile, the income gap between men and women remains lower than the EU average of 12%, and it has stalled around 10% since 2019. Miss Larson, who wants to have children in the future, says her decision to be a stay-at-home girlfriend is partly watching older women struggle to juggle a career and home life. You know what's so interesting to me? I always hear these ladies say they struggle to juggle a career and home life. And I just wonder how they would have did on the farm like 150 years ago. I'm not trying to say it's not a lot. But when we have state-sponsored daycare, you don't even have to watch your kid anymore. You can send them off to school at like 3 now. So, okay, the first 3 years you're busy, maybe like your career takes a hit. But I mean, are we really, I'm thinking out loud here. I'm thinking out loud. Are we really going to say that the farm work 100 years ago was easier than your assistant job? I'm just saying the housework they did 100 years ago, I watched A Day in the Life of the Amish, and they were scooping poop. I'm like, you guys want to do that? I don't know. I might pick the assistant job. Am I wrong for asking this? I don't know. Okay, so Sweden's state-funded gender equality agency, Peter Winstrom, head of Department for Policy Analysis and Monitoring, believes the soft girl trend can be viewed as a rational reaction to the perceived demands experienced by young women. The demands, again, ladies, I don't want to harp on us too much. I used to sell at one point in my life, I sold plumbing tech. I worked for this guy. He had a startup, really, really cool guy. And he invented this plumbing system. And I knew nothing about plumbing, but I tried to sell this system. And I would go to these plumbing schools and we would, I would book the meetings and we would go there and show them how to use it. Okay, I didn't really show them. I just booked the meeting. But you know, and they worked really hard at those plumbing schools. And I would see one woman in the whole class. So I'm sure she worked really hard, you know. But I can't say that assistant, like when one of the most female dominated industries is assistants, which no hate, I'm not saying it's like, I'm just saying comparatively, right? If I had to pick, you know, going into the sewers, unclogging poop, putting together a house, I think scheduling meetings would be a little easier. I don't know, and I do think that we can go home and make a meal for 3 people and maybe do 60% of the dishes. I think we'll make it. I don't know. An economist of one of Sweden's largest pension funds says she does not believe enough Swedish girlfriends or wives will quit work for it to have an impact on the country's economy. Yeah, I would agree, and all the trends will tell you that. This is kind of what's happened the last 50 years. So the ladies said, please let us work. We want to work, you know, let us go into the workforce. We want to do it. And the men said, you're going to hate it. And we said, no, come on, we're going to love it. You guys get to wear suits. I want to wear a suit jacket. Let us go. I'll be a plumber. You guys have the cool hats. And the men said, are you sure you want to do the military? We said, yeah, I love camo. And they're like, no, you have to do what? Camo. They said, all right, ladies, go ahead, go do the jobs. And we did, you know, we went to work. And now 50 years later, we're like, oh, this is kind of hard. I don't get to really see my kids, you know, but this has been tough. But we're ready to go back to the kitchen. We're ready. And the men are like, what? You guys have just shit on us for a decade, or for 50 years. You guys have all these tattoos statistically. You have all this debt. I'm not paying this debt. You guys aren't even in shape. Good luck. And that's where we get the what do you bring to the table conversation. They're like, what can you bring me now? And then, you know, then we make up words that mean nothing, right? Then that's what I would notice. I would do the shows and we would ask, like, what do you bring to the table? And I would hear peace. And I'm thinking, what woman has realistically brought peace ever? I mean, even the best, like, you don't think Melania Trump brings drama to Trump? Even the best of the best, the A-level women. Do you guys really believe they just bring pure peace? Really? They would say that I make a house a home. And I would think, I mean, how do you do that? What makes a house a home? And they would describe to me, do you know what they would describe to me, guys? They would describe to me decorating. I mean, I'm not saying decorating is unimportant, you know. This backdrop, you know, shout out to my producer, does wonder. What a great backdrop. But the men are much more, I can live with it. I don't need it, right? And so I don't know if we're really going to have this wave of ladies that at a young age, before they're fat, debt-ridden with tattoos, are going to say, yes, I want to be a wife and a mother, and I'm ready to have more than a kid. Yeah, it could happen. I'm not saying it can't. But yeah, they said they bring a kid from another dude. Yeah. All right, guys, make sure you like the video on your way out. Subscribe. Go to theaudacitynetwork.com too to get first access to our documentary. We are doing one about demonetized creators, and then we're raising one about the divorce documentary. So link to that's in the description if you want. No pressure. Like the video, subscribe. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you guys. Bye-bye.